Hello, Sagittarius, and welcome to your Scorpio season reading. It's Blair with the Oracle of Atlantis. So, Scorpio season may feel tense and scary, but necessary. This is a time of shadow work and self-reflection. So, we're going to take a look at what is still haunting you, what you've not been able to acknowledge, what is your rebirth, and what you have control over. And then we will get into your future fortune and animal spirit guide at the end. I am currently burning the MoonLight Unicorn Essence, Pure Magic, the Anne Stokes collection. Just in case you're curious, maybe some of you have, I was trying to think of the word, what is it? Clairsentience, I think, is the gift of smell. I could be wrong on that. Feel free to leave it in the comments if you know. Anyway, it's a beautiful incense, very kind of like clean, kind of soap almost fragrance. So, let's get into your reading. From the Moon Oracle, your reading is starting with the energy of Artemis. So Artemis is the twin sister of Apollo. She is known to be, I believe, the great huntress. She was also said to transform and turn herself both into flora and fauna, and chastised herself, I believe it was, after she was, I want to say, molested or raped. I can't remember. Feel free, if you know, to leave it in the comments. I want to say it was from Zeus, but I could be totally wrong on that. Anyway, she hid herself amongst trees and animals. I think the deer was her biggest animal shapeshifter. She would transform into a deer to hide amongst them. I think the story was actually that somebody, I can't remember who it was, transformed themselves into a deer as well and actually raped her as a deer, and that's when she chastised herself and would not allow herself to have sex ever again. But there's a shift here with Artemis. So we're breaking down the astrological influences of Artemis's message. We have the energy of Mars, Saturn, and Pluto. So I definitely kind of see this energy of like a shift in energy. So we have Artemis, which is governed by Aries energy, which is the zodiac that is ruled by the planet Mars, right? So Mars is tend to be referred to more our masculine drive and influence, our action type of energy. With Artemis changing, it could be changing the perspective of the huntress as well, right? She was known to be the huntress, but she was also very connected to the animals themselves. She put herself in their shoes or in their hooves or paws, right? With Saturn's energy, Saturn can definitely be a karmic type of return, karma being paid out. With Pluto, there may be a shift in your karma here. There may be for good or for ill, hopefully for good. There's definitely a shift coming about. I just noticed this too here. One of your cards from the Shaman Durek Alchemy Elementals. We have this buck here of lightning. Definitely power, right? And I just find that curious as I was just speaking of Artemis transforming herself into one. She also has one here, which she's kind of like not really strangling, but almost. It's almost like what I get from this energy is there's almost like this cat energy here, which could be like a mother or sister, and she's like holding the cat back from this deer itself, which in her tail was, if I'm right about the story of Artemis, about being molested or raped by a buck or a deer while she was in deer form. There definitely could be a need to take something into your own hands, but karma will always play out as well. So Mars's energy, also known as the warrior planet, is the planet of action, determination, Mars is associated with confidence, courage, and ambition in life and governs how we fight with others, how we protect ourselves and those we care about, our intimate desires, and our aggressive and competitive side. It also represents our carnal passions, sexuality, and lust for life. Mars changes signs approximately every 1.5 months, except when in retrograde. So it's interesting that it's bringing up carnal passions and sexuality, a lust for life, when the basic message of the card of Artemis is play it cool if possible. So Saturn is often considered the father of the cosmos, an austere paternal figure. It's associated with discipline and responsibility as it teaches us hard lessons and pushes us towards the right path, whether we like it or not. Saturn helps us learn from previous mistakes. We embark on future projects, encouraging us toward our destiny. Saturn is also associated with our personal karma, holding us accountable for our past decisions and helping us learn from them. Saturn changes signs every 28 to 30 years, and I believe that's your Saturn return. So Saturn returns to the degree in its orbit occupied at the time of your birth. A person crosses over a major threshold and enters the next stage of life. With the first Saturn return, a person leaves youth behind and enters adulthood. So that's kind of very interesting, right? We do have Pluto's energy here. So Pluto is Scorpio's energy. We are in Scorpio season, so this is shadow work. But Scorpio is also connected to life, death, and rebirth, the shifts and cycles of life. So there definitely could be, obviously for some of you, there's going to be like a Saturn return, crossing the threshold into the next phase of life. Your house, Sagittarius, is house number 9, which is all about your spiritual growth. This is the Heavenly Bodies Astrology Oracle. I'm not going to be using this deck in this reading. I just have it set up for the houses to keep in track of the readings that I'm doing, right? So now we get into Artemis. As in early Etruscan imagery, a figure of Artemis, the huntress, here stands poised, alert, her wings spread in preparation for flight. Sister of the sun god Apollo, Artemis shares the domain of light, but hers is that of the reflected light of the moon. Her transparent pale blue garment represents the cool moonlight. Either side of her are the animals that represent the opposing sides of her character. In her right hand, she clasps a lioness, symbolizing the part of her nature that is huntress, cruel, vengeful, pleasure-seeking, and competitive. In her left hand, she clasps a deer, symbolizing the part of her nature that is fast, sure-footed, but inevitably always the victim. She wears the protective wristbands of the archer, and around her waist is knotted the girdle of the virgin. Beneath the image are the symbol for the fire sign Aries and the moon disk of the white goddess. So the white goddesses, where does Athena fall? Or not Athena, Artemis. She is kind of on the cusp of creation and rebirth. Traditionally, the patroness of young girls, the virgin huntress, mistress of all wild creatures, Artemis, like many of her sister goddesses, ranged in temperament from cruel and vindictive to gentle and gracious. She was born the day after her twin brother Apollo, and like him, was a deity of sudden death. She chose Arcadia as her place to live, and in this mountainous region was accompanied by her pack of hounds and numerous oceanids and nymphs. It was dangerous to look upon her, and Actaeon was killed by his own hunting dogs after innocently stumbling upon her while she and her maidens were bathing in a pool. The only male that took the eye of Artemis was Orion. But the relationship was not destined to bear fruit. Apollo set a challenge for his sister's skill with the bow. The target, a small distant object at sea, which the unerring eye of Artemis did not fail to hit, was revealed to be the strong, swimming Orion. Artemis had shot him through the head. Another less accidental version of Orion's demise was he inadvertently touched Artemis while accompanying her on a hunting trip. For this affront, she ordered a willing scorpion to sting him to death. In contrast to her devotion to the energetic and sometimes harsh outdoor life of hunting and the chase, Artemis permitted herself the luxury of more gentle entertainment. Like Apollo, she was musical and, leaving her bow at the door of her brother's palace at Delphi, she dressed in gracious style, would often join the choir of muses and graces. This goddess warns that your impetuous and cleverness can destroy the very things you desire. Although there is a temptation to be competitive, you should try not to engage in rash action and sab-rattling behavior. Instead, this card urges a cooler, more sophisticated approach to the matter in question. As a white goddess, Artemis demands a creative solution to the question. The nature of fire in Aries is naturally hot-blooded and impatient. Care must be taken not to stumble. April, this card is connected to the month of April, so there could be some significance to April for you, a memory or something that will happen in April. Hot-blooded Aries. So the way I was kind of looking at this with Scorpio's reading, I kind of got into Scorpio's energy a little bit and how I kind of view Scorpio, which kind of brings me to your energy. So within the elements themselves in the zodiac wheel, you are the last. Yes, you are the last. So Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, right? So Aries being the first. This could be your karmic return, almost of the balance of your masculine energy, I'm kind of getting. But I would see Aries kind of the elder of the fire elementals. So it almost like starts with Aries and kind of ends with you, right? But there is some sort of transformation here. This could even be the karmic return of finding the balance between your kind of like masculine and feminine energies. This could even be, for some of you, finding the balance between independence and codependence, right? Because we can use, both of those words can be used in kind of good or negative aspects. Being independent can be great, except for when we're so independent that we don't allow other people in, right? So it doesn't necessarily always have to be a good thing. Being codependent, yes, can mean that we rely on other people too much, but to find that balance in humanity, we kind of need a bit of both, right? We need to have our independence as well as some codependence. We need to allow ourselves to kind of be able to be both, which is kind of Artemis's energy, right? The wild, free spirit, and then the kind of more tamed and sure-footed energy. It's almost like she's holding her wild side back here, right, in this card. Because we do have, it speaks of the lioness being the wild huntress, right? Lustful, domination. And then we have the deer here, which is more graceful, calm, and sure-footed. And she is putting this foot first, right? So she's leading with this energy as opposed to this energy. This is still a part of her, but she doesn't allow it to consume her. The lust, right? That greed and desire for for life itself. Now we get into the mystical shaman. We're taking a look at what you have not been able to acknowledge. And there's this really kind of curious energy here, because the first card that came out, we do have number 14, the curse. The curse refers to limiting stories of our ancestors and the karma from another lifetime that preordains the events of our lives. It is the source of negative patterns, and it can show up as disease, a destructive force, or a blockage in our creative energy. The curse holds us hostage to a false story that we confuse for reality. Recognizing the original wound that is playing out in our life can heal it. It's time to recognize the source of your limitations. Did your grandparents live with a mindset of scarcity? Did you inherit genes for heart disease? Were you a slave or a master in a past life? This karmic legacy is ready and waiting to be seen, to be untangled, and to be released. Honor the players and their stories. Forgive everyone and everything. Craft a new life course for yourself. So I'm kind of getting this energy of like energetic cords or even DNA strands holding you captive in some aspect of your life. It's almost like you need to bear witness to this to break any bonds or karmic ties, right? We do have this Saturn return, Saturn's energy with Pluto, this transformation of some sort. It could even be with like masculine energies throughout your family tree with Artemis's energy, right? Because Artemis definitely is kind of more of like, she is a balance of masculine and feminine, but as the huntress herself, she would be more kind of like that masculine energy. There could even be a call to pull back some masculine energy at this time, because it may do more harm than good if you're kind of quick to react, right? The card that wanted to come out with this, though, the curse, we also have the Wild Woman, which is kind of interesting. And at first what I was getting is like maybe there's kind of a wild woman that has like a curse over you. And this could even be, I mean, it could be like an actual curse that somebody has placed upon you, but it could also really signify like being seduced by someone, right? It could be this free spirit or this really attractive person. Like, you may not be able to stop thinking about them, and it can feel like a curse. It could even feel like a curse, especially I'm kind of getting the energy if like you're already in a relationship with somebody, but you're thinking about somebody else, right? It could definitely feel like a curse. There may be secrets that you're holding on to that feels like a curse. Beware of your actions. Act with impeccable intention so as not to create a debt or karma that sooner or later someone has to pay. What you do to others, you also do to yourself and to the people you love most. Now you have the opportunity to clean it up. So there may be something that you need to get off your chest, some situation that needs to be corrected, and there may be an opportunity that comes up for you to do so. And it's basically, it's better to take a small beating instead of, killing a bunch. I don't know how I'm trying to say that. Not necessarily, that totally came out wrong, right? It's like, for example, it's like a paper cut at this time. If you do it now, it's gonna hurt, but it's small. You'll get through it. But if you leave it too long, you could lose the whole arm, kind of thing, right? So the Wild Woman, when the Wild Woman dances into your reading, she reminds you of the essence of authenticity and freedom. Divested of all social constraints and cultural conformity, the Wild Woman holds up a mirror to her essential self, the true essence of who you are and who you're meant to become. She is a reminder of the bright light within each of us that gets dimmed by the restrictions imposed upon us by the expectations of society. She reminds us that in order to be fully present in life, we must uncover the light and let it shine brightly, regardless of the perceived consequences. So this kind of came up the other day. I was watching another girl's reading, and she's called the Birth of Venus. Um, she had mentioned something, and it kind of just made me think, like, if you look back at, like, the rules of society, right? Say, like, 1,000 years ago until now, how many, like, new rules we have adapted, right? So we can hold those rules and laws and dictations within us, and everything slowly becomes wrong. Like, it's illegal to do this, it's illegal to do that. Back in the day, if you look at, like, the Egyptians, I mean, incest was a huge thing and not a big deal. Everybody was marrying their own bloodline. Do you know what I mean? Like, and ever since, as we've grown as a society, we've put more and more labels and boundaries and limits on what is acceptable. So this can have kind of a detriment to our minds, right? Because then we start panicking, especially with this Artemis energy, the wild woman and the curse. You may actually have this like wild energy within you that may be very passionate. You definitely could be very sexual, but it may feel like a curse because it somehow feels wrong, right? And it's not necessarily wrong. I mean, there definitely can be some shadow energies lingering in that sexual energy if it is like kind of like almost like a sex addiction. But there's usually something connected to it as to why we react the way we do. So it's your job to kind of break this curse down, or even the limited perception of it. When the wild woman comes dancing into your reading, you're invited to shine brightly and to know your true self is being called out to engage with the world. This is a symbol that your long-held dream is beginning to take root and wants to be expressed. Your authentic self doesn't fit in a box. It needs the freedom to shine. It's time to have courage and step into the light. The wild woman says, shine brightly. Dance with abandon, be yourself, and let the Great Spirit decide what happens. You'll be happy you did. Excess, for its own sake, is a sign of imbalance. This is a warning that you may be trapped in obsessive thinking or behavior, looking for release in places that will never provide it. Let go, lest you become like the hungry ghost of Chinese Buddhist lore that can never be fulfilled. True release comes from trusting the fluidity of life. Understanding that just as a river needs its banks to flow through, so too do you need boundaries around your thinking and behavior. Now is the time to simplify, be mindful, and connect to the light within. Interesting. So I do want to pull you a oracle card from my Raven Song Oracle for advice on the curse of the wild woman for Sagittarius. Later on in your reading, we're getting into a section of what you have control over with the Shadowscapes Companion Tarot. The card that wanted to come out, and it actually kind of fell on the curse, which I kind of love, was the World's card, and it was this way. So I'd almost see, like, you almost maybe coming out of this cursed energy. The World can be about travel and cycles, right? So by looking within, you find the cycle or the chain or binds and are able to break yourself and free yourself from this curse. So the card from Raven's Song Oracle, we have the card of Uranus. And it came out the right way. There's only a couple cards in this deck that have reversals, and this is a reversal card. But you're heading into brighter times through this self-evaluation. It's almost like you're bridging the gap here and making it through to the other side. Marrying logic with intuition is where it begins. The world inside is now reflected from within, a deeper understanding of the mind. Uranus is the planet of expansion of the mind, seeing things from new perspectives, understanding deeper meanings, and resonance to what meets the eye. Now the card behind that, you do have soul, mind, and body. So there's definitely this balancing taking place, finding the things that nurture and honor your soul, mind, and body. So things that bring you joy are definitely of benefit. Perhaps you like to create, maybe you do some form of art, exercise, hiking, photography, things like that, things that feed your soul, nature itself. Most likely nature is going to be a good tool to work with. We do have the wild woman and Artemis being connected to nature. Your mind is asking you to absorb beneficial things. So it could be a call to read a book. I actually just bought a book the other day and I forgot how nice it is just to read, just for the pleasure of reading. Like, I read constantly for these videos, right? But to slip into like an actual fantasy world where it actually gets your mind kind of working. TV shows, watching shows that are, you know, that are beneficial to what you actually need. It could be a show like if you're into, say, psychology, characters, getting into shows that kind of go into characters and their deeper emotions and understanding, right? Learning about how the mind works, things like that. Creative things, your body, I mean, stretches, water, nutrients, going to help all that, right? Meditating can help with the mind, body, and soul simultaneously. So working with those things can maybe help bring you through this darker energy, right? It is something that you haven't acknowledged. It may be something about yourself that you haven't become fully aware of. And once you do, it may feel like a curse, but this is part of your journey and you are moving into brighter understanding and a stronger power here, right? With this back. You also have the lightning of moon. So the lightning can come and break up stagnant energy and bring in new vitality. You also have this snake here, which is all about shedding of the skin and working with energy vibrations. Then we have the sky, snow, earth. There's a snowflake. I never noticed that. There's a snowflake in there. And it's like every snowflake is unique, right? So we're all unique in our own rights. We have card number 44, so you may want to look into angel number 44. Oh, look at that. 1444. Angel number 1444. I'm kind of seeing this gold ring, right? So, I mean, for some of you, it could be marriage. But honestly, what I was getting from it was more like Olympic. So it's almost like you may be like achieving victory or kind of almost winning first prize over this darker energy here. This buck here is definitely receiving a blessing from the divine, right? Like the way the lightning is hitting his horns, it's almost like this divine abundance is coming right into his crown. You may need to work with the crown chakra to connect to the higher realms, the astral realms, the divine, God, your higher self, the creator, your angels, your ancestors. Raven's Song Oracle is for purchase. I will have the link in the description box. So sky, snow, and earth from the Shaman Direct Alchemy Elementals. Holding on to resentment and negative feelings towards others is easy. It's also a great way to shut down your heart and turn it to stone. You know what's funny? I took a little break here in between this part of your reading and the last section of your reading. I have this candle in the background, right? And it was leaking on the desk. So I thought, well, crap, I better put something under it. That's why there's now a wax in there. And when I was thinking about that, I kind of got this imagery while I was in the kitchen of like wax around your heart. It's almost like a protective barrier, but it may be a false barrier. It almost is like a Like, in all honesty, what I want to say is that, like, I don't know if it's an ancestor or just somebody along your path. It could even be from your childhood. May have said something to you that has, like, stuck with you. But it may be completely false. Like, I'm almost getting this energy of, like, an aunt or, like, your parents, one of your parents' best friends that, like, almost didn't like the fact that you existed. Maybe because it like they felt like they lost the connection with their best friend because their best friend had a child kind of energy. It may not have anything to do with you as a person, just that they miss their companion, right? So there may be some sort of jealousy or envy there, but they may have told you something or said something to you at some time that was more calculated and kind of maybe mean-spirited than it was actual truth, but you may have held on to it as your truth. You may have actually really believed what they said. So now you carry that deeply rooted within you, and that could be what needs to be removed here. It could even very well be saying that someone in your past actually is a snowflake here. Maybe not to trust the word of the snowflake. It is far more challenging to keep your heart open and accept people for who they are and where they're at without judgment, without expectation, and without an agenda. It's also far more rewarding. Holding unconditionally loving and accepting space for the people in your life takes courage and compassion. You are being asked to see your family and your friends and your community through the heart and to sidestep the trappings of the mind that would have you judging them, resenting them, and wishing they were different. To heal the collective, we must heal ourselves and our relationships and allow our tribe members the space they need to learn and to grow at their own pace and in their own way. So a lot of this energy, all of the cards from this deck are all sky, so the element of air, which has a lot to do with our thought processes, right? We could even be overthinking certain situations, and that's why this Uranus energy is coming in, because Uranus is Aquarius's ruling planet, and Aquarius is the water bearer, so they carry the emotions most likely within their mental space. But Aquarius is also willing to release those emotions to open the mind to new information. So this is your rebirth. We must feel ourselves and our relationships and allow our tribe members the space they need to learn and to grow at their own pace and in their own ways. Clarify the sky snow of earth, please. We have the Emperor. So it's interesting because the Emperor is connected to Aries, right? This Mars energy. But this card is also about your rebirth and shifting. So now the Divine Masculine is working from a heart space, perhaps, instead of a head space. And that is what you do have control over. You can see it's almost the same kind of crystal ball here, right? There is a dragon in this crystal ball, but it's like it's holding it as at his heart space, right, where she's more holding it at her mental space, looking in, and this is what you have the capacity to change. So this is like letting you know you have the heart of a dragon, like a warrior. You are the emperor of your own empire, and you get to choose how you react and respond to situations. If you're feeling a lack, it's time to start looking for the blessings and shifting your own perspective on it. You can change the way you think to break through any limited perceptions here. Which brings us into sky, lightning, and moon. So this is kind of interesting because you start with the snow, right? So the snow can be a time of rest. It's when the earth sleeps, everything is frozen. The snow, the ice can actually remove bad bacteria and toxins from the freezing, right? And then we kind of wake up to this lightning bolt. So the lightning bolt is more energy, or can kind of be in a way connected to fire, I suppose. But when the lightning comes in, it has a way of breaking up the particles in the air. So it's almost like releasing the things. It's almost like if you can imagine, say within the cold air, you like freeze this bad bacteria, and then the lightning comes in and kind of like blows it to smithereens, right? It's extinguishing that energy and purifying it with transformation. It is connected to the moon, so the moon is more like the subconscious energy, so this could be working through the realms of meditation and dreams. When life kicks you in the ass, or knocks you down, or throws a big old handful of dirt in your face, the most important thing you can do to support yourself through the experience is to feel it and to acknowledge your suffering. When we go through intense and painful experiences, as every human being does, that suffering opens up doorways in our consciousness that expand our perspectives and give us a deeper understanding of ourselves and of humanity. These experiences transform our understanding of the world and allow us to perceive from a higher level of intelligence. Our intuition grows stronger. We become aware of new concepts, new structures, and new patterns. All because we allowed these challenging moments to shape us and to transform us. Allow yourself to feel the pain you are enduring, to acknowledge that pain and to follow it through the portals of expansion that are here to deliver you. So I'm just kind of seeing the Three of Swords from the tarot. The heart with three swords pierced through it. So there definitely could be some traumas lingering. We did have that with the curses energy, right? It could be third-party situations. There could even be energies for some of you from your childhood if you had like a stepmother and stepfather, like that type of kind of. It wouldn't really be a love triangle, but it'd be a third-party situation. There'd be your biological parents and then somebody else brought in, right, from a divorce and a wedding and all that shenanigans. So there could be some lingering issues from that type of energy. Things that you grew up with. You may start to recognize patterns of this behavior from the people who raised you, right? We tend to pick up habits subconsciously, which definitely is the moon's energy. So let's clarify with the tarot. Oh, that came out quick. We have the Nine of Swords. It's kind of coming out. It's kind of coming out sideways. The Nine of Swords can be fear, anxiety, panic, sleepless nights, or not getting enough rest. But what this Nine of Swords also lets you know is this Nine of Swords. You may be holding yourself back from something, right? Just like she's holding her more masculine side, her aggressive, wild side. You may be holding yourself back from something in your life for fear of failure almost. Because the Nine of Swords in this particular deck does actually speak of this knight or person being afraid to fly but wishing he could fly with the crows. But the thing is, what he doesn't realize is he actually has these big beautiful wings. He can fly if he wants to. So that's a symbolism for you, right? Like you definitely have the ability and capability to fly, but it may be whether you believe you can or not that holds you back or helps you achieve your goals. The underlying energy, ooh, damn, you have the 10 of Cups. It could have something to do with love, but most likely this is like a true dream of yours, a desire, something that you hope for. The 9 of Cups represents emotional fulfillment and happiness. So there's a lot of beautiful underlying energy here, but there's also this Tower. There's this fear, or there may be certain limitations that you put on yourself that you need to break down and release. It's no surprise with the snake image here, right? Snakes shed their skin, releasing the old and rebirthing themselves constantly, which this is the Scorpio season reading. This is the whole point, right? Your transformation, shadow work, and rebirth. So by acknowledging your shadow self, you embrace that energy and start to transmute it. You find your balance in letting go of things that are not personally true for you. And this is your wheel of fortune, your change in destiny. Then we do have the Lovers. So the Lovers, it definitely could pertain to a love situation, seeking love, desiring love. Maybe some of you out there want love but don't feel you know how to connect with people on that level. Like you may, like for myself, one of the things I've been noticing with my own shadow work is the desire for commitment is there. But I've noticed within a lot of my relationships, I kind of hit a wall and I bail out. Like I'm not invested enough, or maybe even like confident enough to get to the next level. So that could be the issue for some of you, and it doesn't have to necessarily be in love. We did have this energy coming out. There's like this dream or desire that you want to do, but you're holding yourself back due to this kind of curse energy. Then we step into Sky, Lightning, and Earth. So this card is quite beautiful because these being your rebirth, this is the last card, right? So I do see this as a very powerful card. Success, right? We did have it showing up in the original message with Artemis, the deer here being sure-footed, knowing exactly where to go, recognizing and awakening to your own power. You have manifested many blessings, and you have healed a lot of issues that once held you back. You live an abundant life, filled with friends, wisdom, opportunities, and sensual delights. And it is wonderful that you have come to this place of prosperity and empowerment. But for these blessings to be truly claimed, you must share them. Share your blessings, my love. Give of your amazing self to your community. It's important to give back to your tribe and to share your essence and your gifts with those who will be served by your support. Your attention and your service will lift others' souls and warm their hearts. This is true success, love. So it's kind of beautiful, and in all honesty, by giving to other people in small ways, it's only going to help you, make you feel even better about yourself. I'm seeing a seahorse in this card. Just in this little image here, I'm just seeing a little seahorse. It could even be a shift in how we view things, right? Like in this image for myself, I would see the cat as more feline, more feminine energy, whereas the deer or the buck, because it is a male deer, definitely being more male. But in the actual energies of the card, this would kind of suggest more of the like dominant masculine and submissive feminine. But it kind of depends on how we view our power, right? Because this buck here is sure-footed. It's observant. Cats are very observant too, but they can also be wild and untamed, right? Which is what this energy is speaking of for Artemis in particular. And we do have this wild woman energy, perhaps feeling like a curse. It could even feel like a curse if you find yourself like short-tempered. Like maybe for some of you, you have a hard time not saying something. And with the lightning of the moon, it could be a call to hold back from speaking anything if like tempers are high, taking those moments of self-reflection before responding. But let's clarify. The sky, lightning, earth, blessings, paying it forward with the buck's energy. We have the devil. So this card is quite interesting because we have this person here chained. There is a key, but it's within a mask, so the key may be hidden in some sort of illusion or insecurity. You did have, did I put it back? That 9 of Swords, right? A limited, perhaps, mindset. But then you have the devil here holding this heart in a web. So this could be you or even somebody else that it almost could be like this messy kind of energy of going back to this energy of somebody that may have spoken with like false intention. They could have said something to you that has been weighing on your mind, but it was almost like they did it on purpose because they didn't want to see you succeed. The devil is an illusion, though. It can be tricks of the mind. Lust and greed and all that kind of stuff play into the devil a bit as well. But the devil really is, it's kind of that energy of the devil made me do it, right? Like it's when we do things that we know are really bad for us, but then we end up doing it anyway because we kind of talk ourselves into it. The devil is within the mind itself. So you may want to like work with the crown chakra here. There are plenty of meditations on YouTube to work with the crown chakra to connect to the creator, to get some divine intelligence and wisdom on how to proceed forward here. Because it's almost like as above and so below. You're bringing the advice of the divine into your own mind so that your feet know exactly where to go to avoid the pitfalls of this devil bullshit. So we have the Emperor, the 9 of Swords, and the Devil. So you need to realize that you do have the strength and power to accomplish your goals here. Don't let the devil trick you out of living the life that you truly desire. What you have control over. So we have the World card, which was the first card to come out, and it did fall on the card of the curse. So the World card can be traveling if you need to move to a new location. Perhaps with this devil energy here and this anxiety, there may be somebody who actually is like holding you back in your physical reality at this time that you may need to move away from. But the World card is all about breaking cycles. You have this Nine of Swords. It's like breaking the glass ceiling. Don't limit yourself. You have the strength and power and the stamina to accomplish anything you set yourself out to accomplish. You have the King of Cups, which is mastering and honoring one's emotions. Your emotions play an important part of your soul, mind, and body, right? They are there for a reason. They are trying to lead you in a specific direction. But those are your emotions, like your emotions, things that kind of like make you feel like joy or a sense of lightness. We have the Four of Swords. So the Four of Swords is a call to meditate, to take the moments in stillness, to honor and work with your emotions. We are working with your shadow energy, right? So your deeper emotions, your fears, your triggers, your insecurities, inner child type of work. But by honoring these emotions through meditation, through moments of stillness, you can observe them better and learn how to work with them from a different angle. So that is what you have control over, your like emotional and mental health. You really do. It just may be about embracing new tools and tactics to work with your own mind at this time. So let's take a look at your future fortune. What does Sagittarius have to look forward to in the future? What is in store for Sagittarius in the future? What can they look forward to? What lays beyond this curse of the wild woman? Ooh. So we have the Magician. Love that. So the Magician, you're able to manifest and create, but this is coming in time, right? Because you're doing shadow work. You're breaking limitations. You're expanding your energy. You may be even like developing spiritual gifts for some of you. But this is all about bringing your energies into balance. Your fire, your air, your water, your earth energies. You may like to check out the Lotus message reading, because I have been doing those as life path number readings. So I have been working with the Shaman Durek alchemy elementals here, this deck here, which breaks down into fire, air, water, and earth, and the main pillars of life, so like spiritual, emotional, but it's all about balancing those elements, which is what the Magician is. So if you need help in this, you may find one of those readings resonates and has some more guidance on how to do this. But the Magician, you have the Ouroboros eating its tail, but it is in the symbol of the infinity symbol, right? I'm almost seeing good luck on a fishing trip, which can be represented by the spirit guide of the blue heron, can symbolize a good luck on a fishing trip. And it doesn't necessarily have to be a fishing trip in particular. What this means is there is like good luck and good fortune coming your way. There is something that is being like blessed, a dream, a desire. The divine wants this to happen for you. But the Ouroboros, the snake eating its tail here, can also be a symbolism of change itself, the end of a cycle, perhaps even breaking through this curse type of energy. For some of you, you may actually even be feeling blackmailed. All of a sudden, I'm getting that from this card. This is a very specific message that's probably not going to resonate with all, but I will use it as an example. It's almost like if you've cheated on your spouse and the third party, whoever you cheated on with, is blackmailing you to keep you coming back, right? So that could be where that guidance came up before of the paper cut and losing the whole damn arm, right? Like if you have cheated on a spouse, maybe it's better for you to actually speak. Well, I know it's better for you to speak up over them finding it or hearing it from another person, right? That could make things worse. But let's get back to where we were. We're looking at the future energy. So in the future, you have the Magician. Your energy's in balance. You're able to create thoughts and then manifest them in physical form because you've balanced your energy. We have the Knight of Wands, which is all about moving forward with passion, power, and purpose. Very much could be your energy here, Sagittarius. Feeling strong enough to move forward with your passions. He is wearing armor here, so he is protected. He has his trusty horse, and he's moving forward with what he truly desires. Ooh, and then we have the Three of Pentacles. So the Three of Pentacles, this definitely could be in business matters. The Three of Pentacles I would see as kind of financial influences. There could be people on different levels. So you could be around people that have more money than you and people that have less money than you. The Three of Pentacles does suggest collaborating with others, working with other people who are of different skill sets. So it could be somebody who is more has more wisdom in a certain field or area than you do, or you may have more wisdom than they do, or maybe you have more wisdom in different sections and both have something to contribute, right? The Three of Pentacles is all about working with others. So you have this Magician energy. You're like finding your balance, or you soon will, through this shadow energy. And then you have the Knight of Wands. You're seeing your passion, or you're taking your passion and moving forward with it. And then you have the Three of Pentacles, which could suggest that people will come along your journey, or you will find people along your journey to help bring your passions to their fullest manifestation. So for the closing message, let's get your animal spirit guide. From the Wild Unknown Animal Spirit. We do have the shark showing up here. This was just at the bottom of the deck. So the shark basically warns against, like, the shark will circle you. Just because you ignore it doesn't mean it's not there, right? So this is a call or chance to acknowledge something. And what you have not been able to acknowledge is the curse of this wild woman. So everyone's situation is going to be different. I know I kind of used it as like a literal curse of like a woman, a wild woman type of energy. But from this energy, everyone's situation is going to be different. This is a limitation of some sort. And you should get some sort of knowing, or maybe you need to meditate on this curse, this energy. Think of these cards and take some time in solitude to meditate on it, to see what intuitively comes to you to help strengthen your intuition. This is kind of the energy of the hunter and the prey, right? Are you going to be the hunter or the prey? Because if we don't acknowledge our fears and insecurities, they can attack us. But if we do acknowledge them, then we have the opportunity, perhaps even to push them out or hold them back from interfering with our path. Closing message. What is the animal spirit guide for Sagittarius? I love that. We do have the crown chakra wanting to show up. I was getting the crown chakra energy from Mr. Buck here. With his crown of antlers, what is the closing message? The animal spirit guide for Sagittarius at this time. Closing message. What is the spirit guide of the curse? For Sagittarius. We have the raccoon, and the underlying energy you have the oyster. So the beautiful thing about the oyster is there's a gift inside. There's some beautiful blessing awaiting you. But then we have the raccoon. And the interesting thing was you did have the devil card, right? And the key is in the mask. Raccoons, obviously known for their masks. Ooh. The raccoon. Talented, shadowy, and in hiding. The shark can represent directness, exposure, revealing true nature and desire. The oyster, patience, secret keeper, hiding inner treasures. So the raccoon is talented, shadowy, and in hiding, which is interesting because the underlying energy is hiding inner treasures. The raccoon is connected to artistry, which would actually make a lot of sense for some of you out there with the magician's energy, right? You could have a very a beautiful skill or talent that you've been hiding. Raccoon energy is at play within all artists to greater or lesser degrees. At best, it indicates talent, tenacity, and skillfulness with a particular musical instrument or creative tool. Its shadow side points to an unresolved issue around self-image and success, sometimes using a stage name or wearing a mask, works in an artist's favor. Other times it limits creativity. Am I who my audience thinks I am? What if I am ready to grow into something more? Raccoon energy won't let us off the hook until this creative ego fear is resolved. When in balance, generous friend, exceptional artist. When out of balance, competitive and starving artist. So that energy has come up a few times about being like, if you are like overly competitive, this may be a need to change that kind of reaction to things, because this definitely could be an out of balance type of energy. To bring into balance, make new work. And I just have to show you this. This is page number 69. It's reminding me very much of Cancerian's energy, but also Pisces, which, no, you didn't have Pisces. You had Scorpio. I could just see kind of like this, the koi fish of Pisces zodiac constellation circling each other. This is above and so below. Cancer's energy could also stand for B9, which could be like stages before it reaches actual full-blown Cancer. Which is why mental health and emotional health is so important. Mental health first, because that kind of helps, mental and emotional kind of helps the actual physical body in essence. It all starts within the mind, right? So healing with working with the mind and learning to accept oneself. So there could be like these stages of grief that happen as well as we grieve ourselves. There can be like anger, sadness, depression, bargaining, denial. And acceptance, I added one in there somehow. Because that was 6 and there's said to be 5. But the last stage is acceptance, right? So even with, this could be within your sexual nature or wild energy. Could maybe feel like a curse, like maybe you don't have a handle on things, but the truth is you probably have more of a handle on it than you actually know. You just may be harboring some shame, fear, or guilt for whatever feels like a curse to you, and it doesn't obviously have to be sexual energy for everyone, but that's just one aspect that comes to mind, right? The curse could be many things. It's a limitation of some sort. For some of you, it could even be the fear of speaking against somebody that you don't agree with, but that you feel has more power or leverage than you do. But this is where meditation is going to be your friend at this time, to break through your own cycles and to stand up for what you feel deep down is actually the right thing to do. Right? Following through on your emotional promises to yourself and what you believe in, and not taking this crap lying down with this devil energy, because you're stronger and wiser than you know with the Emperor and this Buck's energy. So that is the reading I have for you at this time, Sagittarius. I hope it resonates. If it does, please feel free to like this video. Don't forget to subscribe to the Oracle of Atlantis, and I will see you next time. Many blessings, live, love, and light. Take care.